Hello everyone, it's Fjarlar. It's just me today, S2 is a bit busy with some real life stuff right now. It's also why our video release schedule has been a little bit erratic, but hopefully we'll be able to get things back to normal soon. So today I'm going to be talking to you about the auto chess mode that's going to be coming out on global soon. So because it's easy to run out Langrisser to play in the background here, I'll go ahead and play some music from another game that is relevant to the topic of this episode. I've been seeing a lot of people ask questions about this mode, and I'm hoping this video can provide a comprehensive preview of the mode before it finally hits global server. I should note, however, that I do not have any first-hand experience with this mode yet. For that, you might have to check out other channels like Sweet Dango, who has access to a Chinese account. I've been trying to obtain access to a Chinese account recently, and it has not been going well so far. The official name for this mode is something along the lines of Magic Tower Defense, although I'm sure the localizers will give it a shiny new name, something like the Bewitched Construct Brave Man Attack and Defense Battles, something along those lines at least. The Chinese release of this mode was in January 9th alongside their Ares Maya banner, so for us, on global server, it's only about a bit over a week away. So during its 2-week run on the Chinese server, it was available in 2 time slots, from 11 AM to 2 PM, and from 6 PM to 10 PM, server time of course. If they end up running these same time slots for global, that might spell some trouble for those of you who are living in EU or Asia. I should also note that this event has not been run on the Chinese server since its initial release, and that's going to have some pretty big implications on how you might decide to play this mode. But let's get into the mode itself. In this mode, both players have 3 towers on their side of the field. They both have a central tower with 7 HP and 2 front towers with 5 HP. Anytime a central tower is destroyed, the game immediately ends. So if you decide to attack the tower's life points directly, you're going to do 3 damage, but the attacker will also receive a debuff and 50% of their max HP as damage. Casting AoEs can avoid this negative effect, but they only do 1 damage each time. At the end of 12 turns, if a central tower hasn't been blown up, then the player with more towers will win. And if they have the same amount of towers, then a sudden death game will begin, which is where the first player to destroy any tower will win. So if sudden death doesn't end in 3 turns, then the number of remaining heroes will be used to determine the winner, and if the heroes are the same, then they'll just look at the damage dealt. So right here I'm just showing a picture of a victory screen. You can see that it just lists the amount of towers each player had left over, the amount of heroes each player had left over, and then finally the damage dealt. To prepare for this mode, you need to choose 24 units for a box that's similar to an Apex box. There are mercenaries in this mode similar to how you can get them for Apex, but unlike in Apex, you can actually have a full box of mercenaries. So because of this, even newer players can join in on the quote-unquote fun that this mode has to offer. You can also see on the right that this is also the screen where you can choose 3 stratagems, or rather player skills, that you can set for your matches. So I'll go ahead and show you the 6 player skills that are available. First, you have a mobility down skill. This is probably the best one, at least in a vacuum. You have one that does a heal block and damages the opponent. You have one that causes one ally to be immune to all debuffs and then also make them ignore defense and magic defense before entering battle. You have one that significantly increases AoE skill damage dealt. You have one that is essentially a heal. And finally, you have one that reduces cooldowns on a unit. As you can see, every single one of these skills has a cooldown and a limited number of uses per match, although every single one of these effects cannot be immunized or dispelled, so they can definitely help determine the outcome of a match. So let's start talking about the actual game itself. Each player treats their box as almost like a deck of cards. At the start of the first turn, each player draws 5 heroes from their box, and these are hidden from the other players, so they're basically like your hand of cards. If you have less than 5 heroes in your hand at any time, you will be able to draw a hero at the start of your next turn. So once this is set up, each turn will be split into 3 phases. There's a placement, skills, and a combat phase. So in the placement phase, both players will be placing down their heroes. The order in which they place down their heroes is based on the turn order, randomly determined the same way it's determined in other arena modes. You start the match with 5 of what I'm going to call action points. It's represented by this purple gem. Placing a hero down costs 3 of these action points, and then every turn you'll recover 2 of these action points, and killing an enemy hero recovers 1 action point. So just like in any other arena mode, the two players will actually take turns moving their units rather than each player moving all their units at once. However, in this mode, there will be numbers floating over each character to tell you what order they're actually going to be moving in. And as you might have heard, the units in this mode are completely AI controlled. You don't have actual control over their specific actions. You're only allowed to choose the one skill that they are allowed to bring when you place them down, alongside the soldier choice. So you get to choose this during the battle. You don't have to actually choose this before the match or anything like that. Once the units start moving, they're going to always prioritize attacking an enemy unit over attacking a tower if they can help it. But I guess I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's move on to the skill phase, which is the second phase. Here, both players are going to choose whether or not they want to use one of their player skills. You're allowed to take 3 skills in battle, but they are of limited use as mentioned before, and you can only use 1 skill per turn. You can also choose to pass using a skill, of course, and once that's over, they go into the combat phase, which is where the AI takes over, and each hero will move and attack. So just like in our arena modes, the last unit to move will actually cause that player to go second in the next round. So here we have a screenshot from the second turn of the match, showing off a lot of the things I just described to you. On the first turn, player 1 placed down Yusuke, and then player 2 placed down Shilfanil. He also casted the player skill that increases Shilfanil's AoE damage. So as you can see, what happened was that Yusuke moved forward, and then Shilfanil also moved forward and cast his Heavenly Sanction, which damaged the Yusuke heavily. Player 1 then decided to place down Hiei on his second turn, and as you can see, what happened is that Yusuke's turn order actually went down. Because the units that are placed down will move according to when they are placed down, with the latest units being placed on the board moving first, here what will happen is that Hiei will move first, and then Shilfanil will move, and then Yusuke will move. Now player 2 is faced with a decision. You can see he has that full hand of 5 characters in his hand right now. He can decide to place down a unit, but if he does that, it will actually make Shilfanil go 4th. So this is just a pretty quick and easy example of some of the decisions you have to make in this mode. And I have a note at the bottom that was something I just couldn't fit in other places in the video, which is just a random additional note about how the Indomitable effects, which is the revive effects on characters, can only occur once per character. So this is another reason it's unfortunate that S2 isn't with us here today, because I am not able to make fun of him for building Varash now. But I guess we just have to stick to laughing behind his back about it. And now we have another screenshot. This screenshot is just to show off that if you destroy an enemy tower, you will actually gain places to place down more units around that tower that you captured. So as you can see, because of how losing heroes can cause your enemy to gain more action points, and how losing towers allows your opponent to gain more places to place their units down, as you lose a game, you're actually losing a lot of ground, and it's going to be harder and harder for you to win. Alright, well, that's the basics of that mode covered, and I think now we're going to get to what I think a lot of you are actually interested in, which is, what am I going to actually get from this mode? So the rewards in this mode are split into 3 categories. You have the event duration rewards, which is just the typical, you will get these rewards during the event duration. You have the achievement rewards, which I assume were meant to be long-term rewards, slowly clearing them over multiple sessions of this mode being released. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, since the initial introduction of this mode still has not been rerun on the Chinese server. And then finally we have the ranking rewards, which are just pretty crazy, and you'll see in a second. So first we have the event duration rewards. You can pause the video if you want to take a closer look, but it's pretty standard stuff: Trinity Crystals, Gold, Dust of Fate, and some Mastery Stone packs. I should note that I'm actually not sure if the Mastery Stone packs are just the type where they give you random stones out, or if it's the type where you can choose, because the icon for both of them are the same, so I couldn't tell. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on to the achievement rewards. The achievements are giving out similar rewards to what you get for the event duration rewards, but the difference is that, as you can see, the numbers are much higher on what you need to actually do. Defeating 400 enemy heroes before you finish that chain quest. You have to get 20 victories, reach a ladder score of 1500. Obviously, with the event duration of only 2 weeks, this might end up requiring you to play this mode a hell of a lot during those 2 weeks if you want to get all this stuff before they end it. So, have fun with that. And finally we have the ranking rewards, and don't worry, I have a pretty picture for you guys this time. As you can see, the ranking rewards are just really nice. quite a bit of Dust of Fate, and your eyes are not lying to you. Those are the giant packs for the Enhancement Stone Arena packs and the Enchant Scroll giant packs that you would regularly get from playoffs of Apex Arena. So this is definitely going to be a very competitive mode. And with that, that's pretty much all the info I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to post them below. If you think I got something wrong, please let me know. Otherwise, hopefully this was enough of an introduction to let you all be confident and comfortable with getting into this mode when it comes in about a week and a half. And with that, this is Fjarlar from the Wikigrisser, and I'll see you guys next time.